Yes. Great. Okay, here we are. Here we are on our beginning our final seminar,
Mm.
4B. Very awesome. Final of the practitioner training. So, so happy to see you all here bright and early and ready for today. And we have an exciting guest joining us today. We have a guest speaker on animals. So that'll be coming up. Um, but yeah, it's going to be a great day. So let's see, we'll send it over to you, John, to kick the ball off here to get things rolling for 4B.
Yes. Okay. Well, just think about when we first started, day one, seminar one, and here we are at the end here. So we're going to do our workout again. So I'm going to invite you to find that place you like to stand, and we'll get into our Wuji posture and get started. Hey, let's take a moment. Really feel those feet connecting with the floor, on the earth, our representation of earth. Get a sense of roots going down as you breathe, allowing yourself to arrive more and more into this present moment. Good. Let's actually bring your hands in front. Let's breathe in and sink a little bit and then rise up. Let's just like you're soaking up the energy of the earth a little bit more. Let's pull it up through the body and then send it back down to strengthen those roots. Inhale, exhale. Couple more times. Breathing in as we sink, breathing out as we rise up. And then let the hands come back down by your sides. Let those knees remain flexible, slightly outward, so like you're riding a small pony. Drop that grounding cord so we can also connect to the earth via the spine. Get that firmness in the perineum, close the anal sphincter. Create that container that we can fill with chi in the lower danchen. And then say hello to the divine and get a sense of it gently pulling you up. Elongating the spine. Softening the chest, dropping the shoulders, a little space in the armpits. Elbows are heavy, hands are open. Breathing in and out through the nose as that tongue moves to behind the upper front teeth. Mouth closes, eyes begin to soften, and ears close as you bring your awareness more and more inward on this process. And then take another breath in. And now let's begin to do pulling down the heavens. Let's breathe in and gather energy from the earth, from nature, from the sky above. And let's give a little wash down over the front. Letting go of any tension, any stress, anything that doesn't invite you to be here in this present moment. Inhale, gathering earth, nature, and sky, and give a little wash down the back. All the way down into the earth. And one more time. Right through the crown of the head, down through the center of the throat, down through the torso and the pelvis and the legs, through the feet, and down into the earth. And then let's take a moment, bring your hands either in prayer position, or if you'd like, you can rest them on your heart. And let's set an intention for our final 5 days here in our seminar. And just breathe. What would best support your highest good, your learning, your growth, your healing, as we move through and support the lovely animals today, moving through and supporting humans on the rest of the week, and then celebrating at the end. Just inviting good chi to come into this weekend to support yourself, your highest good, maximize learning and growth for yourself. And a couple more breaths. And when you're ready, letting the hands come down. And let's start our workout with our channel dredging. Let's go down to our big toes and let's go along those yin channels of the legs and the front of the body. Underside of the arms to the palms. Release. Let's do the yang channels, backs of the arms, side of the head, back of the head and neck, side and back of the torso, the pelvis, the legs, and the feet. Inhale. Exhale, release. Give yourself a little heel bounce there to help support that as we go down the outside of the legs. And again. And smile as we're moving chi that might be blocked from these important channels to move energy between and within the organs, all the way through the body to support your health. The backs of the hands, side of the head, back of the head and neck, moving down the side and back of the body. And again, coming up, breathing, letting go. And again, focusing on the yang channels. So a couple more. So we'll come up and let's help those kidneys, liver, and spleen channels, and then move to the lungs, heart, and pericardium. Now let's help the small intestine, large intestine, the triple warmers. Then let's get some support to the gallbladder, the bladder, and the stomach as we go down. One more time, all those yin. And then all the yang. All 12 channels getting supported here. And then roll up the spine. Come back up to a standing position. Breathe in and let's go into counter swing. Inhale at the center, exhale at the side. Giving yourself a little extra support. Bringing focus into the organs. And also all the elements here. So helping the metal element, the lungs. Any release that needs to happen here, if there's any heaviness in the lungs that feels like there's overwhelming grief or sadness or disappointment, any sense of sinus issues or skin issues. And then let's help the water element, the kidneys. Giving a little extra support to them, the bones. Releasing perhaps any fear that might be in the body. Any issues with the reproductive organs, the brain, your hearing. And let's give a little support to the wood element. The element of springtime here, the liver. Let's help the tendons. Let's release any frustration or anger that might be resonating in the body, causing havoc. Let's help the eyes as well, the sense organ of the metal element or the wood element. And then let's help the fire element, the heart. Help the blood. Let go of any stress, any anxiety. And let's help the earth element, the spleen, and the pancreas. Releasing any heaviness here, any worries, any overthinking, any issues with the muscles, the lymph, the digestion. One more to each side. Let's do one more to the right, and then one more to the left. And then come back to the center. Feet closer together. And let's bounce. Bringing our focus into the bones. Feel that vibration as we do our dropping post. Relaxing into the bouncing. Really focusing on that exhale. Would you invite any heaviness here to really release? At the same time, getting a sense of strengthening the bones. Going a little longer because we've moving through the ear here. So just want to invite a little bit longer bouncing here. And then begin to slow it down, and pause. Take a breath in and rise up. Let's stack the bones. Exhale, release. Good. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, release. Lovely. And again. All right, let's do another round here. Where are you still holding on? Where can you relax a little bit more? There we go. Moving the chi. And just kind of do a little scan up your body. Good way to kind of develop that internal awareness. Feel that bouncing in the ankles and the feet are actually moving. Notice that in the knees. Move up to the hips. Just see if there's any more release that could happen here. Moving up through your spine. Where are you still holding on to where you could let go a little more? What about the shoulders and down the arms to the fingertips? What about all the cervical spine of the neck? Particularly that area where it connects with the skull. Occiput, high tension area there, one of our spinal passes. Then let the jaw release and just get a sense of releasing anything from the skull. One more breath. And then pause. And rise up on your toes. Get nice and tall. Exhale, release. Good. Inhale. And exhale. Let's do that one more time. All right, let's step out and move into trembling horse. Shake those hands, wrists, elbows, and shoulders. Shake it down your body. There we go. Inhale. Exhale. Shaking loose. Whoa, helping the fascia, helping the skin, helping the nerves. Release. Three more. One more time. Good. And then just feel that vibration in your body. You're gonna love the buzzing, especially like in the hands. Maybe you feel in the arms, the shoulders, spine, legs. And let's do another pulling down the heavens. Gather from earth and nature and sky. And let's give a little wash down the front. Kind of clearing out anything we've shaken loose here. Same idea down the back. Follow that down with your mind's eye. At the same time as we do this, we're going through the center of the body now. Let's get a sense of receiving healing light in replace of what we're washing away. Good. And hands back to side. Let's support those digestive organs with our 5 yang exercise. Breathe in, spin it. Activate the chi. It's called the beating and drumming of chi. You're creating a golden ball and then you're spinning it. Breathe in some more, spin it. So let's support the digestion, the lower dantian, and then activate the digestion, activate the chi in the lower dantian. So it's not stagnant there, it's actually moving, it's active, it's alive. Get a sense of those arms actually working to do this, like you're moving through water. So you pull it in and then you activate it. Arms aren't just flopping, they're actually supporting this sense of pulling in energy and then get it activated. See if you can notice that in your lower dantian. Just make sure that there's a firmness to the perineum, anal sphincter is closed, but not to the level that doesn't invite full deep breathing, just to the level that creates a container. Breathing in and out through the nose, tongue on the upper palate. Good. And 5 more. One more time. Let the hands come down and do that in your mind for a moment. And breathe. Imagine it spinning. Let's say hello to the spine now as we do our 5 yin opening, lifting the arms. Let the fingers get heavy, let the head get heavy, let the shoulders round and slow motion dive towards the floor, one vertebra at a time. Grab a little energy there, bend the knees, tuck the tailbone, restack the vertebra from the bottom up. Exhale. Get a sense that all the vertebrae are releasing. Nothing's holding on. Inhale, roll up. Exhale. Knowing that you can always pause on those stuck areas. Work with your visual like we did with the spinal treatment. Just go back and forth with a little like a little energy ball there to loosen up those blocked areas. Up and let's do one more. That energy, restack the vertebra, come all the way up above the head and then drop the hands down in front. Move your focus to the lungs. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Like you're breathing through your fingertips. Inhale and then drop them down a little bit on the exhale. Kind of symbolizing we're getting the upper lungs here, and then we'll get a little bit, drop it down into the lower lungs. So we support the full aspect of the lungs. Smile to your lungs. One more time. Bring your hands towards the body, drop them down like you're going on the outside of a ball, and hands come back to your thighs. Take your right heel out a little further, get a wider stance. Bring your left hand around, right hand in front. Let's say hello to that right kidney. Let's go down and scoop up the water. Inhale. Exhale, rolling down, rolling across, and then rolling up the other side, getting that spine activated. Watching the hand as you circulate. Scooping up our water, taking it in, get a sense of it going down that right arm, across the backs of the shoulders, all the way down the left arm until it touches that right kidney. Imagine it being blue if you want to work with color. Because it's the right kidney, the more yang kidney. We can imagine that being a lighter blue. One more time. Good. And when you're finished, begin to switch positions. So now we'll bring our focus to the left kidney. Let's roll down, scoop up the water. Get a sense of filling this one up, this left kidney, more yin in nature. So maybe you want to work with a darker blue, almost a black color. That works as well. Scooping up the water and taking it in at the top. Two more. Gathering it up. Good. Let your left hand come down to your hip. Bring your right hand in front. Slide that foot back into Wuji. And let's say hello to the liver. 3 breaths as you pump the arms out. And then 3 more as you continue. And exhale as you continue. 3 movements as you inhale, 3 movements as you exhale. Help to support that smooth flow of chi, the responsibility of the liver. Getting the legs pumping. So as your hand comes back, the weight starts to shift to that side. And then your movement starts by moving, pumping that leg, and then begin to send that arm out. Smile to your liver. Finishing up the one you're on. And then let's bring left hand over right. Create a nice ball and say hello to the heart. Take a nice breath in. Exhale, let's go to the right. Inhale, back to center. Exhale to the left. Feeling the heart. Exhale, creating a safe space to protect the heart and the shin. Remembering the upper hand will be forehead level, yin tongue level. Bottom hand will be heart level. Smile to your heart. Inviting in more peace, love, and joy into your heart. One more to the right. One more to the left. And then come back to the center and just take a moment and place that beautiful ball in your heart. Let's have a pause here. A sense of honoring your heart. This beautiful organ, center of the chest. And then slowly let the hands drop. Let's say hello to the spleen. Let's breathe in and make an outline of the earth. Bring that energy down through the center of the body. And then flick your fingers to release any charge behind you. Touch your thumbs and index fingers to create our mudra. Breathe it above the head, bring it above the head. Inhale and then exhale. Breathe in at the center, breathe out at the side. A little rising up in the center, a little drop and twist at the side. Like a visual, like you're going over a little hill. You come up the hill and go down the hill. Try to look through the diamond that you've created here. If that's too much, go a little more forward. That's better for your neck. Otherwise, you're kind of twisting on your center axis here. Think of your Taiji pole kind of twisting around the Taiji pole. Upper peripheral vision makes it easier on the neck, so you don't have to go too far back with the head. Let's do one more to the right, one more to your left. Come back to your center and slowly bring that down. Good. Hands back to the sides. Let's bring all that chi from our yin and yang organs into the lower dantian with our turtle breathing. Inhale. Circle the hands. Exhale, squatting down to the level that works for your body. Take a breath at the navel, front of the pelvis, side of the waist, kidneys, Ming Men. Hold, and then run your microcosmic orbit. Exhale back to the navel, putting it in the Danshin, and then roll out of the posture. Inhale, lift the arms once again. Circle them around, make a soft fist. Exhale, squat down. Take a breath at the navel, front of the pelvis, side of the waist, kidneys, Ming Men. Hold that energy in your chi belt around the waist, then run your microcosmic orbit. Just do it once, and then back to the navel. Or you can always run it more, but at least once, and then roll up. Inhale again. Circle around. Soft fist. Exhale. Breath at the navel, front of the pelvis, side of the waist, kidneys, Ming Men. Hold. Run your microcosmic orbit. Exhale to the navel. And roll out. Doing great. Here we go. Couple more. Inhale. Exhale. Breath of the navel, front of the pelvis, side of the waist, kidneys, Ming Men. Hold. Run your microcosmic orbit. Exhale back to the navel. Great. Here we go. Final time. Rolling up. Inhale. Circle around. Exhale, squatting down. Breath of the navel, front of the pelvis, side of the waist, kidneys, Ming Men. Hold. Run your microcosmic orbit. Exhale back to your navel. Dropping all that chi in your lower dantian, and then slowly roll up. As you roll up, let's go right into a pulling down the heavens. You might feel a little lightheaded. That's the chi moving around. Let's bring it back into the dantian. All that chi is refreshing your body. Let's bring the extra into the dantian. Focusing on front and then back. And one more time, right through the center. The hands rest here. Take 3 deep breaths. Letting it settle. And let it coalesce into a ball. And imagine that ball compressing down to the size of a pearl. See that pearl drop down to your pelvic floor. Release the hands, and it's time for Guang Gong Stroke Spear. Let's pull the pearl up the spine, over the head, exhale down the front. Tongue on the upper palate. Move the chi through the microcosmic orbit. One more time. Bring that pearl back to the navel. Settling it in the dantian. Let your hands drop down. And let's breathe in and create a golden ball. Exhale, lift it up. Inhale, let's expand it. Exhale, contract. Inhale, bring it close to your body. Exhale, push it away. Inhale, press it down. Exhale, we release. Good. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in and out. And working with this idea of working with a ball, moving the chi, 8 directions. Smile, moving the energy. Getting a sense of movement of this energy, movement of the spine, movement of the shoulders, working with the breath, bring a sense of harmony to the organs, muscles, bones, tendons, nerves. Let's do one more. Breathe in and gather. Breathe out, lift. Breathe in, expand. Breathe out, contract. Breathe in as it comes close. Breathe out, push it away. Breathe in, press it down. Breathe out as we release the ball. Hands back to the navel. Feet closer together. Breathing in and out through the nose. Locking that energy in with our 9 rotations. In one direction and 9 more in the opposite. And rub the hands. Count them over the glasses, over the eyes, soak it in. All the way down the spine to the Dan Shen. Little wash of the face, up the center, down over the ears. Little tap of the forehead, crown, side, back of the head, back of the neck. Come down to the shoulder. Let's stimulate this arm to the palm and up the back. Come across, do the same thing on the other arm, the shoulder to the palm, back of the hand to the shoulder. Come into the underarms, heart, lungs, sides of the body, the digestive organs going up your right side, down your left, up your right, down the left. One more time. Tap beneath the navel, our sea of chi. Come around that chi belt again and say hello to the kidneys, lower back. Let's stimulate the legs, starting at the buttocks. Come up the inside as you go around the feet, the inner legs, right into our leg gate areas, the pelvis, sea of chi one more time. And then back into Wuji. Feel your energy. Smile. Good. Let's take all this beautiful energy and have a wonderful day, everyone. Thank you so much. Drink water.
Right. Good workout, John. So, okay, questions and comments. And how are you doing? Checking in.
Yeah.
It's been a few weeks, not that long, but it's been a little while.
Yeah.
And some of you I've seen in between, of course. Some of you were at the channeling. So, yeah.
I can
Okay.
go.
Okay. Yes.
I did do channeling. It was fantastic. I loved it. Channeling too.
Yeah. Pretty fantastic. Yes.
Really, um, I enjoyed doing the rant where we
hmm
ranted on something that we were annoyed about and then channel for ourselves the higher wisdom. And then it also had input from other members, but I really liked that part. Uh,
Yeah, that
and
is magical, or it's just transformational. Yeah. Thank you.
yeah, that's such
Yeah.
a good practice.
hmm
Um, and that was just after I'd had 3 fibroids removed. So I didn't know if I was going to be able to join that class, but actually it was really great to do that. Um, and so, yeah, so I'm 2 weeks post surgery. I'm really glad I've had the surgery. It actually feels quite, those fibroids only grew when I was with my ex. And so
Oh,
it
wow.
feels like I've had something nasty cut out. Um, And I've got 4 little ones that were all on the right side. They were all on the right side. So I think I've got some healing work to do about that as they were all clustered together. And there's 4 little ones still there. I have bled a lot. So I feel very tired and depleted. But things are moving. My house is under offer. This is the last tie I have to my ex. I've got buyer a week after the surgery, and that seems to be progressing. So yeah, I feel the new energy of that old cycle is finally closing and new stuff's coming in, which feels exciting. And I am glad that I'm not. I'm going to just repeat this year again. So I'm not sort of like trying to rush to do anything because actually I'm really just I'm really tired. But it's all moving in the right direction. So
Hmm.
that
Your
is good.
energy is so much better.
I think it's better too.
Yeah, you look almost like a new person. So, I mean,
Yeah.
you have new glasses, but I mean, from even from when you were in the channeling class, it still seems like it's getting better. So I
Yeah.
really believe something was let go of.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's exciting.
it
Thank
is
you. Thank you
exciting.
for that
Yeah, you can
reflect.
really see it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. Well, congratulations
Yeah,
on
that's great to hear.
getting through so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, you like those. Okay, who else had something to share? Gavin, yes.
Um, yeah, no, it's just about the channeling. So, what was I right in thinking you mentioned that there was going to be something in August?
There is, it's now Labor Day weekend, so it's the actually the first weekend of September.
Mm.
Oh, but it's not on the website, is that right?
The dates are there, I believe now. Yes, it's on the website now, but I have to send it out to people. Let me just check on my website because I think I've changed things and then I maybe didn't press publish, which means it doesn't go out. The change is sitting there. Uh, so let me make sure. Um, this is
Oh, it's been
nice.
moved to Labor Day weekend, huh?
Yes, because I'm going to a seminar the weekend before. So
Yeah,
it's like, and it kind of knocks into the two weekends before, so I can't even do any one of those. But
right.
anyway, so yes, channeling level one is now, but it's not on it's Thursday through Sunday. Oh, see, it's still wrong on the website. It says August. It should say first weekend of September, and I should have the right dates on there, but apparently I can see that I don't.
I got a calendar right here. So that would be,
Yeah, it's like the three,
okay,
four,
that would be the Thursday. So it'd be the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth.
three, four, five, six. Yes, third to the sixth. I
Yeah.
have it, I think, somewhere else, so I need to maybe on the events page that I fix it, or maybe I just haven't published what I fixed.
So that's
Oh, I have it September
channeling.
3rd to 30th. Oh, so I really need to fix this.
And is that the
Sorry,
ch
I got to fix my website. Okay. Thank you for pointing this out. It's going to get written down right now. Oh, it's everywhere wrong.
and is
So
that
glad I.
channeling one?
That's
That's
channeling one,
channeling.
yes.
Yeah, that's channeling one. That's the one you need first.
Yep.
And then you've got mediumship one in the beginning of October. Is that
Yes, that's correct.
okay?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, so that was okay. There was that, and then yeah, I just had a really quite interesting scenario with a patient.
Huh.
Yeah, she'd come with lower back pain, and she was talking about how she during one of her pregnancies she had kind of epidurals and a lumbar block or something, and ever since then it kind of been lumbar pain, but she had a number of miscarriages. And when we were working, it felt like there was something still in the uterus. So the kind of magic hands was to open it up and take whatever that was. But it felt like it was maybe like a soul fragment of one of the
Uh-huh.
unborn
Yeah.
children. And so it just released. And then she had feedback, and then she said to me, "It felt like you were doing a cesarean section on me."
Wow.
And like, did
Yes.
you did you take something out? And I was like, well, of course I didn't, I just said, well, it just felt like a lot of energy there. And then the week after that, she came back and she said, I haven't had any lumbar pain since I've had lumbar pain for the last like 10 years and I
Yeah,
haven't
yeah.
had any over the week. So I presumed there was that kind of block there with that. I presumed it was one of the unborn children's soul that had remained in the uterus or something. That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
Yes, it
Oh,
is.
yes. We teach it. We
We
work with
teach it
that
next
because
level.
next up, because that's what happens, exactly what happens.
Yep. It's
Okay.
called phantom
We call
embryo.
them, yeah, it's a ghost embryo is what we call them. You can find them. They're like little ice cubes that float above the uterus, so you can kind of touch into them, and then we kind of have a process of talking to the person about releasing them and releasing with a lot of love, so a love and caring, but just the fact that you release that because they suck energy in that whole area and
Right.
all sorts of it's like they take up space there where the chi isn't circulating. And so when you release them, the whole thing, it's one of the biggest changes for women is to have that work done.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So you
Hence
totally,
why all the miscarriages, the space is not
Yeah.
ready
yeah.
for something to
Wow.
happen there.
You're so good. I love
Yeah,
that you
that's
found
great.
it though on your own.
No, that was your magic hands thing because that's what happened in the magic
Oh,
hands.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. That
well,
was
there you
like,
go.
oh, this is yeah, so that was magic hands.
Perfect. We love
Giving you a
it.
little preview.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. Okay. So yeah, that makes sense then.
Yeah. I mean, we do make a big deal out of that just because it is so powerful.
Hmm.
And it's so common that women will have
Yeah.
these energies stuck there and cause these problems. So
Okay. Great. Okay, good. So yeah, I didn't talk to her about it because
yeah.
I just didn't feel it was a thing to bring up.
Well, you probably didn't. Yeah. How do I address this? So that's
Yeah,
what
how
we
would you
practice
address it
during
if
the
you don't have,
class. Like
yeah,
how would you would actually work with that?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Very nice.
But I love that you just found exactly what it was, like this soul fragment there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, very good.
Okay. Okay. Out there, any other comments or questions or yeah, what's been going on? That's very awesome.
I just have one more thing about what Gavin just found. I said, just think about the work that we've done since day one, and then now we're actually able to do magic gloves and find soul fragments of that's quite profound, isn't it? It really gives you a clue of that this
Mhm.
work is so real. It's how we might have thought it was more woo at the beginning, and now we realize, wait a minute, there's something really here and really profound.
Yep. Yeah.
And it gets more profound as you go further.
Yes.
If you choose.
Yeah. So we're prepping for there's a Master's 12 class coming up in Vancouver. So that's the live class. So the next one of those is in 2028.
Eight.
Yeah. And we're working very much with it's all the spirit work. So we really get into all that dimension at that level. And even have lecture coming up. We do lecture in advance just to kind of get people. So it's because we need the time in person because it's a very intensive class, but it's it's also really awesome and powerful. And people like, oh, could things get more powerful? And then they have major transformations with some of the work that we do in there with if you're an acupuncturist, you know about ghost points, but it's a ghost point practice, but very specific way of working with these to release these deep held old beliefs. It's just amazing. So
Mhm.
yeah, and it's not something you do on a first session with someone. You
That's why
know,
seminar 12, not seminar 1.
yeah, or first two levels. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely masters. So Michelle.
Mute. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. I don't know why, but I get messages on the screen. Press here, press here. I'm like, oh no. Um, I had a client, a lady that came to me. I saw her for the first time, and she's Cree, and she was referred to me by a colleague that said, Michelle, she has a lot of pain at the heart. So, funny enough, in a nutshell, my cookum is what I call her because she always comes in. This grandma took her outside, and I was following in this, like we were just guiding in this imagery work. Took her to magic circles. Guys, it was the crazy thing. So she created the magic circle, but now I want to share this. So normally, this is a longhouse that I usually see her and her sister. They're always at the fireplace, but there's this longhouse. But this time, because what she was telling me, and funny enough, my client's name was Wendy. She was telling me that, right? So that was interesting too.
I love that.
I know. So she said to me, my family, Michelle, because she's quite versed in her traditions, her family are Bush Cree. So she said, we don't have a longhouse, but we would have teepee. So I said, okay, but I know what I know. So it's funny because as she's telling me this, face down doing the massage, the cookum, who doesn't speak, but she motions, tells us to go outside down by the water where we did the circles. And this was interesting. She took a stick and she drew 4 petals. And in each of the petals, she would put an object. And then the last one, she said, you know what this is. I don't hear her say it, but I hear it in my head. So I said to her, what's something you would put in the circle, or sorry, in this leaf? shape. And she said, a turtle's claw. And then it was like, this was the turtle. And then she started just crying because she had experienced her mom had passed, her brother overdosed. She has another brother on the street. Her dad died at 38. Her younger brother, who was on the street with drugs, had been in the car and had hit his frontal lobes. So he had no options. He had delays, all kinds of terrible things. So she's a mom with 3 kids and a hubby. Everything's good. She works as a counselor for people, at-risk youths. So anyway, there was a lot of stuff there. But that said, she was just, when she turned over, I said to her, let's just do ha. Let's just express from the heart. And she'd been crying, and she said it felt like there was like a mist that came off her. Similar to what Gavin was expressing, it was just like she said, I don't know what this is, but it's just left me. So when she got up off the table, there's work to do. But oh my goodness, it was like looking at another person. The release. Anyway, I just wanted to share. That felt very fulfilling. But it was a lot. But it was it was very good. For 1 hour, I was like, this is awesome. So yeah, thanks, guys. Amazing. The circle thing is just works for me every time.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that. And I
Thank
love
you.
so your guides were taking you to the circle.
Yes. So
I love that.
Took her and it's weird. It's almost like they're showing me something that we're learning, and this is how this is. And it's funny because as she was drawing it in the sand because she picked up the branch and showed it. So this is wood element probably, right? As she's breathing in and out, and she's drawing it out. And then everything, I can tell you, one was a flower. She had said to her, I didn't see her pick it, but then I said, what's your favorite flower? And she said daisy, and she was holding up a daisy. Oh, okay. Last thing. Just as we're leaving, because we went back in the longhouse, she put soup. They usually give food. And she said it was moose meat in a bowl, wooden bowl. So she was drinking it. And then her sister, who's another cook, gave me something to drink. And I tasted mint. I said, I think she's giving me peppermint. And then Wendy said, no, it's not peppermint. It's a root that we use that's like mint. And I know what that's for healing. And the last thing we're leaving, she holds up. Do you know what a cat o' nine tail is? Like,
yes.
Right?
Ooh. Yeah,
right.
Nasty.
Yeah, so she's holding up this cat o' nine tail. And I go to her. I don't know why, but I see a cat o' nine, like a cattail plant.
Oh, yeah.
And then she says to me, because the roots of that in ceremony, I know what to use it for clearing.
Wow.
But it's so strange because I had no idea.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was my share, guys. Sorry if it's too long, but
that's very cool. I love it.
I thought that was really cool.
That was a good share. We appreciate that share, especially, and everybody knows the ha sound, and it's so true.
Oh, the ha is great. Yeah.
Sometimes I'll do that at the end of a session with two if there's been something that's really profound. It's good to have some ha sound to shift that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Any other shares? I know we've had big shares. Can you beat that one?
No.
Can you beat those? No, we're not asking that. Anything that you might want to share with the group. Okay, so I'm going to bring Freddie in so you can meet Freddie.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes. So
Hi.
In London.
So hey, I've moved actually. Now remember when I had a last session with you, I was moving to Margate, the gates of the sea. So I've moved and now I live in well, I should say to the rest of the guys that I was living in like a teeny weeny little flat during practitioner level last year. And it was all a little bit crazy. And now I live in a flat that has a bedroom and a living room and a kitchen separately, and it's all terribly exciting. Spacious.
Yes.
But
the
yeah,
cats,
so it's and
the cats are happier.
Yeah, we have exhibit A here.
Yes. There's exhibit A and exhibit B.
Exhibit B might be sleeping upstairs. They are, yeah. They're in great form. So it's
Okay,
really
so I
good.
just wanted to go over with the class because we're working on pets today and our whole episode last year
Oh
with the
yeah.
cats.
Fascinating. So fascinating. Yeah, I don't even know where to start with
Well,
that.
I'll start. I'll kind of
You go.
so she had this flat in an old part of London because
So
lots of
haunted.
so very Londony, old London, and and the cats were keeping her up every night. The cats were going wild at night. She had cat crazy and couldn't sleep and do anything. So she asked me to help out. So I found she had a haunted flat, which is like no surprise in London, right? But it was also haunted by ghost cats.
Cats. Yeah.
And, and so we had to deal with these ghost cats by bringing in like the big overcat soul,
Yeah. Like the Overlord cat. Yeah.
the overlord cat. And so, but when we did that, then the cats were all calm.
Super chill.
Yes, and they went from every night being wild and crazy to being fine.
Yeah.
But you had to keep up doing it. Like you had to keep clearing
I
that.
had to keep clearing and I didn't really have the energy to keep clearing.
So then she moved to Margate.
So I just moved. I also quit my job. There was a lot of toxicity around me. But like the cats are so responsive to energy and like I got a gong recently and they absolutely love the gong. They like Theo is deaf, so he sits like behind the gong where he can feel the
Oh,
resonance of it.
Oh.
And Dusty, the other one, just absolutely adores the sound of it. So it's like gongs and qigong, and yeah, it's all
oh,
energy.
nice.
That's really
Great.
Yeah,
cool.
so it's good.
Wow.
I should say I've been teaching like, I used to do like lunchtime classes at work and, all of that kind of thing. But I did my first proper hour-long class independently this week. And a couple of people showed up, but it doesn't like I would teach anybody. I'm so happy with who shows up, but they absolutely loved it. And they were so like there were these two people that were like they were very movement oriented, right? So it was really they picked up the movements really quickly and we focused on sound and they were just super receptive. And it was, the way it's so lovely at the end of the class when people are like, oh, it's cleared up my sinuses, or like, and this other woman, like it was the anniversary of her partner's death, and she was like, oh, I feel so much more lighthearted. And
Um,
just those little things where you're like, oh, yay. So,
yeah.
yeah, getting to do more of that is a real pleasure.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
That's exciting.
It's really good to be back.
Yeah.
Oh, the haunted flat was in
Oops,
Tulse
sorry.
Hill. Sorry, I was just answering Naomi's question.
Oh, where was it?
Where was
Oh,
it?
if you were wondering. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Tulse Hill, South London, outside Brixton.
Okay. London. Oh man. A little bit of haunting there.
A lot of history, so of course it's going to be
I
haunted.
know, I know. Yeah, you get these places with a lot of history, and you can get a lot of spirits there. So, but I love that was so. Wait a minute, there's ghost cats here. I think we found the problem.
2,000 years of crazy history. Yep. Yep.
Yes, exactly. It can be a challenge. Okay, so there's our topic, and there's how interesting it is to work with animals. So there is that. Why do the cats get stuck? Well, I would say why do the cats kind of get into, and Freddie will probably attest that they're kind of like in gangs or something there. They're like still um into their territory. And so there's like because they're very connected with people that they kind of take on human traits. But those particular cats, they were very gang-like and they're very territorial. And so these new two cats had come into their territory. And so they were going to harass those new cats. And
Wow.
they were harassing these new cats. And they just hadn't, they were like, okay, we're dead, but we're still into our
Yeah, they're
cat.
working their
They're
turf.
still working their, I think it'd been going on for a long time because it felt like there was a big cat history there.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, I had never come across like that kind of a cat in a place like that. It was just really interesting. Tarek?
Hmm.
Could I just do a quick share quickly?
Yeah, I gotta
Sure.
find
Uh,
you. You were there and then you're gone. A second.
Yep, he's here. I got him. If you like.
There you go.
Yeah, there we
There we
go.
go.
I did a couple readings on some horses for the first time in like a really long time because I just couldn't do it. And the one, she's a mare, has a lot of anger.
Mm.
Uh,
Hmm.
Quite interesting. I feel like she needs a lot of work. She's in like a lot of pain, like
Oh,
dangerous too.
oh, right.
Like kicked a few people and she just bit someone today.
Oh,
Um,
oh, that's too bad.
yeah, but it was really interesting because like for her, I feel like even helping her, there's like it's a lot of deep-rooted emotional issues and stuff that she's like not trusting of people and things.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But for the owner, the sport aspect, she's not really gonna be of much use in the sense of like doing big things. So I kind of don't really
Mm.
want to do the work.
Well, we're going to be working more with that today. And I mean, even Allie's coming today. So we might want to bring that question up with Allie. What would you do in this situation? Um, for me, in that situation, you're going to need to know, and this is what Allie has to do too. Like, what is this interaction with the owner?
Hmm.
So it'll have to do with that, what the anger is about, um, and where the pain is. You need to see what can be done about the pain, but the pain can be a reflection of the emotional situation. And but the owner may be compassionate or you're compassionate. And sometimes if they just know there's someone who's on their side around them, that things can change.
Hmm.
And there can be misconceptions that they have about what's going to happen to them and the world around them.
Hmm.
They hear some things, they take certain things in. Animals will take some things in and not other things sometimes. And so really kind of like working through these issues, and maybe I'll work on the horse when I'm demonstrating, so I could even do that.
Yeah.
Sounds like you care about this horse.
Yeah.
She like I love like a mare personally. They're more I feel like
Yeah,
they bond better to people or like I just have a special connection with more mares.
Mhm.
yeah.
They
What's her
more
what's
like
her name? What's her name? So Wendy can be able
her
to.
name is Kiss.
What's that?
Kiss.
It's
Kit.
Yeah, Kiss.
Oh,
KY.
Kiss.
Kiss, yeah.
Kiss. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. There's something about that name, something I don't know if it even fits the horse
yeah,
or
right.
something. But we had a situation one of the first times I taught this class where someone had a rescue donkey and no one could get near the donkey because it would bite. It was and this guy had rescued the donkey but they couldn't really get close to it, and they had to, kind of like give it food, but don't get close. And then after having like doing a healing on it, in that case, it was able to be, the donkey became able to understand that the people around were not dangerous and that they actually loved and cared about the donkey. And this guy, they had a farm, it was in Alberta, but then they came when the wife, he told the wife about the session, his wife came to the donkey. And for the first time ever, the donkey just came over in this really kind of nice way and was just like really like us. And then the donkey was like totally open and loving after that. Never did any of that other behavior. It just needed to know that it was safe and that it
Mm.
was loved.
Yeah. The one girl that like is the main caretaker of like the
Yeah.
horse, um, she doesn't really want to forgive her because the reason she kicked her was because the girl like got mad at her and hit her. So she kicked her and like flew back into a wall and then was injured and off for like a few months.
Okay. Well, hitting
There
a
we go.
horse.
Of course.
Yeah. What was she
Yeah,
thinking? So
yeah,
anyway, so that's good. So we kind of know what
yeah. And
needs to be addressed.
Right.
yeah,
Anyway, I can work with that and I can just see what I come up with and what she says. And okay, so that's the person, not especially the owner. Okay.
not the owner, but like the just like the groom,
Yes.
The groomer. I was
with
like,
like the
mm,
Yeah.
majority.
Yeah. And that will need to be sorted out even before you could even send maybe the horse should go somewhere else, but that would still need to be figured out first.
mm.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you. Real life situations. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's important. Hi, Celine.
Hi, I made it in. Um, Question in regards to that. Was that work, for example, with the donkey just done through the healing, or or was the animal
Just in
also,
class.
did you
It was
talk to the animal, or was it just through the
it was through the
healing?
exchange in class. And
Okay,
then
so
that class was in Victoria and the horse was in like outside of Edmonton. I
Yeah.
mean the
uh,
donkey, not the horse. The donkey was outside of Edmonton.
the
So yeah.
donkey. But I'm curious, was there dialogue like during the
Yeah, of
session with
course.
the
Oh
donkey?
yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was just wondering how that kind of transpired.
Yes, that's how that transpired. Yeah.
Okay, neat.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to go into our PowerPoint. We'll share energetic healing for animals. So, yes, okay. So animals like to be healed. They like to give each other back rubs. No, just kidding. Um, I like this picture. Always reminds me I had two dogs that looked just like this that I worked on. I mean, they were my clients. I didn't own them. And one was Simon and one was Toby. The one on the left would be more of a Simon and the one on the right would be more of a Toby. And when I worked on them, even though they were brothers, they weren't exactly, look alike, but they look more alike than that one. Um, those ones. Anyway, the Toby, Toby was just a love bug who was into the owner. The owner was Nancy. And when you connected, all that Toby would say, I love Nancy. I love Nancy. So Nancy was like the center of Toby's life. Like everything was about Nancy. And when Nancy was diagnosed, the doctors told her she was in danger of having a stroke. Toby had a stroke. Like Toby took on anything that was wrong with Nancy, Toby would take on. So Toby was like totally that's all he cared about was loving Nancy. Simon, on the other hand, he was like, I protect everyone. I protect Nancy. I protect the house. I protect there was a son. I protect the son. Make sure everything's okay. And then I protect Toby because obviously Toby was a bit of an like in Simon's mind, Toby was a bit of a nut job. I couldn't really relate. So different when they were brothers. Same breed. I mean, same breed, obviously brothers. So and anyway, it's so interesting how their personalities can be so completely different. So along this lines, I have the cats. Cats live next door, and they're like one of the giant breeds, sort of like a Burmese and a Maine Coon or something. I don't know what they are, but some sort of a giant fluffy couple of cats. And there were Winston and oh shit, Winston and anyway, there were two of them. So Winston's the one that's still alive. So now I'm talking to Winston all the time. But the other one got hit by a car, unfortunately, really in the prime of life. And he was like the hunter, and he would be in like my yard, and he was like a big hunter, and he was also scared away he could scare away a coyote, scare away the bobcats. He was just this big Wolfie. That was the name, Wolfie. So, which is very much great with the personality. Winston is also the personality. So Wolfie would chase away the other cats. So, and then Winston, I didn't know, but I just knew they were two big fluffy cats. So Wolfie got hit by a car. And so she had asked me, because she knew I did this kind of work, to check in on Wolfie. So I did, and Wolfie's first thing Wolfie says to me is Valhalla. Like, Valhalla? Like, what's Valhalla got to do with like cat and cat whatever, cat heaven? And then the scene opens up and Wolfie's like around this table with cats, like they're like showing like they're drinking beer and they're exchanging stories. They're like, whoa, they're just total Viking cats. And there's like these stories of all of their episodes, like in the earth. And I said, well, sorry, like, no, I wanted to go then. Like, I want to go in my prime, like he was like probably like attack hunting an animal when he got hit or something. So he thought that it was like perfect. And he was in this Valhalla place for cats, like, and she actually the other thing that so then I asked about, but aren't you sad to leave behind Winston? Because I said about the people, and he says, Winston, yeah, Winston's like a pussy cat, you know. Winston, he's gonna live a long time. They're okay. Winston, he'll die when after his teeth all fall out. He's not, Winston's like not a man, and he was definitely not a Viking cat. So and then I had talked to, and they were like, "Oh yeah, that's totally Winston. Winston would rather like hunt. I'd rather stay home and hang out in the sun or on the couch or something." So it's so interesting how we can have these completely different personalities. And she actually got a picture. Somehow there was a place where you could get your pictures of your cat made into a Viking. Like that actually existed. So now they have a picture of Wolfie on the wall with like the horns out, and that was their commemoration to Wolfie. So they have real personalities and different ones. And like with dogs, you see this, obviously they have different skeletal system, um, but then the same, except they have tails, and don't go chopping off their tails because it's, their governing vessel goes down there. Or I guess it probably starts there. So we don't want to, no, it doesn't start there, but it's connected there. So, we want to keep all their parts for them. Not a good thing to chop bits off. All their intestinal inner systems are different. But if you're going to work on them, it's kind of good to know. And like feline digestion. So you can find out a lot. And if you want to go towards the direction of working with animals more, I just have always mixed it in with my work. And so, I have a sense of all this. It's sort of like if you look at where the knees are, whoops, their knees are up, like that foot goes all the way up. It feels like the legs. So they have these giant springy feet. And then the knees are up high and the hip is higher than that. But they have these, the dew claw, that thumb, like the big toe is way back up high, but gives them all of the things that they need. But they share so much of our DNA. It's like almost all the same. and they share these energetic patterns. The only difference being that they always run the microcosmic orbit in reverse. They're always running the water cycle. All animals always run the water cycles, just like children. And when you talk to them, they always sound like children too. Now, unlike cats and dogs, a horse is a big animal to work on, and there's all the points there. And so if you're going to do that, it's good to become more familiar with the energies. But again, it's going to like be very similar. And they have the hoof, and then that's the ankle is more up, um, is that whole foreleg is what we call the foreleg is really connected to more what we have as humans as our foot. So they have a little bit more going on than us. Or it's different. There's some things that are different. So they are very similar to working on humans. They also have, I think in the picture, one of these pictures, okay, they have the chakras. Look at those chakras, isn't that cute? We have the whole chakra system there that you can work with. And yeah, so that becomes very similar to working with people. So we don't have to, it's not that different than working with people. And so keeping that in mind when we do our work. And then when you're treating animals, it's really important to read their energy fields. So that's a big part. And so when we're doing this today, you're going to need a pen and paper because you're going to want to take down some notes about the animals that you're working on as we go through the magic circles. Then when we get to our third level, then you're going to be checking in with them at the spiritual level. You want to have a conversation. And in this conversation, you're going to find that their voice is like talking to a child. They have very sweet, unless you're, Toby was the child, like Simon was a little bit more not the child, and I guess Wolfie would be not the child. So they can have kind of different voices, but usually they're very kind of sweet animal voices that you're going to be connecting to. The third, yes, ask a question. So questions like, are you happy? Just kind of just to, how are you doing? It's like, are you happy? Or sometimes they're like, no, I'm sad. They're not happy. Um, I had a dog that the owner would bring over, for me to work on. And of course, I don't work on the animal unless they just lie down and they're into it, which also happens. Sometimes they lie down and they're into it, but usually because they kind of know that you're going to do something good. Um, oh, I have to tell you this other story about the animal lying down. So when I was teaching in Victoria, there was a cat that lived next door to, it was the Boy Scout Hall, just kind of in the Cook Street Village area in Victoria. And there was this was blind in one eye, but it was like always kind of out and running around and doing things. So the day I'm going to be, we're going to do sessions. It was like the second half of a session, practitioner class. So everybody had their tables out around the room, door open, and I don't have anyone on there. I'm just going to be like leading through it. And this before we had surrogates. And there was nobody on the table. And this cat runs in to the room. Everybody saw, like, what's the cat doing? Jumps on my table, lays down its head on the pillow that was there, marking like the head spot, and lays on its back with its arms and legs out. I mean, like the forelegs and the back legs spread out. A cat. does this. Like the cat wanted a session. The cat stayed there like that through the entire session. And then when the session was over, the cat got up and ran off. So sometimes there's animals that are into it. We were all so shocked. The camera was turned off because it was our second time going through the session. And back then we had to have a camera person and they were taking the pictures. So we basically turned the camera off. But it was like the most remarkable thing. Like, really? Then after that, the cat could see. No, I'm just kidding. I think that I was literally gone. But anyway, so it was just amazing to work on this cat. The cat so wanted a session. So, yeah. So, questions like, are you happy? So, this other cat and this other dog that I worked on was like, no, I'm not happy. Not happy because my owner's always sick. I want her, I want her to be better, and she needs to stop focusing on me, and she needs to focus on herself. So that was the whole thing that was coming in from this dog was that, to stop focusing on them and work on herself because it's like so that was making the dog unhappy, and then the dog had all the symptoms that the owner had. So they had taken all of that on. So that's sort of an example of what you can get there. Who do you feel connected to? Like Toby, connected to Nancy. What is your life purpose? Well, for Toby, that would have just been mother. For Simon, that was like taking care of everybody. So there are a lot of those. What issues do you have in your life? And that's where you can start to get into figuring some things out that, anyway, I will come back to that. But right now, we have a special guest in the room. So can you bring Allie up?
I'm trying to find her. 1 second here. Let me do gallery so I can find her. There she is.
Hey,
Hello. Good morning.
hi.
Just turn my volume.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, so Allie is a graduate of the master's class who has taken this work in the direction of animals and specifically horses.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. I don't really know what to say.
Yes, okay. Well, I would say, how did you make that? How did, you sort of make that decision to start working with the horses? I know you already worked with horses, or did that just happen naturally?
Yeah, so for me, I guess that was more of the most obvious route because I grew up riding horses and then I rode professionally for quite a while and had like students and would go to horse shows and teach and all of these things. And what happened before I met Wendy or even kind of got linked into the Qigong class was I started hearing the horses speak to me like in my work environment. And I thought maybe I was like losing my mind or just like too stressed out or whatever. And then that's kind of how it started. And it took me a while to kind of go there full on, but that's what I do full time now. And like horses are definitely my the predominant part of my work. And then I do still treat people, and then I do dogs and cats also. So, there's a pretty wide range you can go with it, I guess. But yeah, I guess it in the area that I'm in, I'm kind of more known for doing the horses, I suppose. But
Yeah.
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. So do you have any interesting like stories that you could maybe share with them about maybe the relationship of horses and working with maybe the people that own them
Yeah,
sometimes
so I think
necessarily?
what people end up being um surprised by probably not just horses, but like the dogs and the cats too, but definitely the horses is
in the horse community, we always kind of talk, oh, like horses are sensitive, but I don't think people realize the degree to which animals are so telepathic and so tapped into these spaces that we're kind of not, and we don't really spend a lot of time there, and they know so much, and a lot of them are extremely wise. Um, and their ability to pick up on stuff is huge. And the horses are like the horse, like I have to tell people all the time because they're like, how does he know that? Or how is there this? And it's like they know everything. It's like they're like little scanners, they see your body of, someone working in the barn or their owner or whatever, and they're just like do 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 do, and they're picking up all this information all of the time.
Mm.
Um, and just a lot of them are very, um, I've had a lot of, and I'll just say animals, not specific to horses, but I've had a lot of animals also um, speak in a very high level, like broader perspective, tapped in perspective, divine perspective. And it's like they just naturally can communicate from that place or give wisdom from that place. Not all, some are, maybe a little less, a little goofy or whatever, but it's that ability for them to have this like divine knowledge that we have to almost work at accessing. It's like it's just there for a lot of them.
Right.
So
It's interesting. There's a range, right? You get some that are like
yeah,
maybe like kind of childlike and
yeah,
innocent, and then right through to the
yeah,
high
absolutely.
on
Yeah,
leader class.
Yeah.
yeah. And with the horses too, I wouldn't say this comes up super, super often, but I've had enough horses too where they're having maybe health issues or behavioral issues, and it'll actually be a past life situation, and then once
Oh.
that gets rectified, then
Mhm.
whatever that is goes away. I don't think I've ever had that with a dog or a cat. Not that I think that couldn't happen. I'm sure that could be there at some point, but I have had that quite a few times with the horses, so that's also something that's there when there's issues going on. It's not always, current. It's not always current stuff.
Mm.
Yes. I mean, I agree. I've had issues come up past life stuff with horses, but if it's with cats or dog, it's more like I've been their cat before, I've been their dog before.
Mm-hmm.
Something more simple, but not complex trauma or something that's carried over.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And even I'd say like treatment wise, there can be a very wide spectrum of like why someone would bring an animal. Like,
Mhm.
oh, he's got arthritis and he's in his hips, or, my dog's been throwing up, or anxiety, or with horses obviously because they're ridden, there can be a lot of like behavioral issues or things that people find undesirable, and they kind of want to get to the root of those things, or disease process, like it's or people are just curious, right? They just like, I heard about you and I wanted to see what my horse maybe had going on. So there's also like a pretty wide range of why someone would like seek out work for their pets too, or their animals.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you have animals that are like having maybe misbehaving, having issues like that. And you
Yeah.
can take that back to what you're saying, their sensitivity
Yeah.
and things that their owners
Mm.
say to them or
Yeah, and it even can go back to like when I explain to people what I do, I always tell them that like the Chinese medicine theory is kind of the foundational place, and that's a spot that I'll always refer back to because, sometimes let's say there's a behavioral thing with a horse. It could be like the owner is a middle-aged woman and she's getting a divorce, and there's all this stress and anger, and that's manifesting in the horse, and the horse is stressed out.
Mm.
Okay. Or it could be something where like no, like that horse, it can go down to maybe a little more like TCM style, where it's like no, that horse's spleen is really out of whack, or the horse's kidneys are really low, and that's why the spine's not working well, and that's why like the lower back is so atrophied. Like so you really have to just go into each individual treatment and individual animal and find what's there, just like you would a person, right? It's not, sometimes it's the kind of the obvious thing, and sometimes it's not the obvious thing, or sometimes it's got nothing to do with the horse at all, and it's all the person's shit. Like it's really, it's very dependent on like each individual creature, really.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. I still remember the story you told me once about the first time you were kind of early on when you were doing this work, and you were talking to the horse, and it was hearing everything the owner was saying, and it was saying all these negative things about the horse, all this negative stuff. And you finally just turned to the person and say, "Why do you keep calling this horse dumb?" And they just were like, they were just
Yeah.
shocked by your intuitiveness of seeing that. So I
Yeah.
remember that being
And they
uh,
know, like when you're talking to your dog or your cat, and you're like, they know,
yeah.
they know what you're saying. They know what's going on
Hmm.
for sure. And I mean, I've had animals, whether they're verbally telling me or I'm finding it in the body, like, you know, bring up maybe a sick brother, and it's like, yeah, but my brother's never come to the barn before. My horse has never met my brother, and I'm like, yeah, but you know your brother and you come to the barn, so it
Right.
doesn't matter that your horse has never met your brother. Like that's the kind of sensitivities that they can have. It's like, but your horse is picking it up off of you. It doesn't matter that your brother's never physically
Right.
seen the horse.
Yeah, that kind of goes back also to the water cycle, the fact that they're not doing the animals, it's like you pat them down their back because the energy is flowing, the reverse of humans. It's in the intuitive
Yeah,
cycle always.
yeah,
They're always
yeah. They're
they're
very
always
tapped in.
always very tapped in.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I find, I don't know why specifically for me with my practice in terms of like the dog side, I tend to get a lot of like senior dogs and almost like dogs that are kind of palliative. And that's a really nice kind of space to work into, because a lot of
Mm.
those treatments aren't not not like necessarily promoting length of life, but just kind of keeping things comfortable and keeping the owner kind of tapped in on like how that decline is going and how the animal's feeling, and if they're, because people get so anxious about, you know, is it too early? Is it too late? Like, what do I
Yeah.
do? And that's also kind of a nice space that I've found. And for
That's
whatever reason,
great.
I just seem to get a lot of, I mean, I get younger dogs too, but majority of the ones that for whatever reason come to me are kind of more in that phase of life. And that's kind of a neat place to work in also.
Yeah, and you probably, they'll tell you if it's they want to go now or if they want to stay around.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's
they
nice
do.
for their owner to have someone to connect with and find that out.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I mean, I've had a few dogs, that have had cancer diagnosis.
Yeah.
And, the owners have been very diligent about getting regular treatments, and like, they've lasted a good, with that just extra little bit of care, like they've lasted longer than, like the vet would have thought that they would. And, that's really nice too, because it just gives people more time and keeps the animals
Yeah.
more comfortable and stuff, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you do get some treatments that are just, they're just really fucking weird. And that that happens too. And those are always really fun ones to explain to the owners and the, I guess other potential practitioners involved in the animal's care. Like, for the horses too, there's always, especially like in my industry with the horses, like there's always a team. Like you have the farrier, you have the vet, you have the body worker that does the massage. So it's, you have to be comfortable or get good at kind of like, bouncing off of people and sharing information if they're open to it,
Hmm.
Yeah.
which is maybe a little different than, working on like a dog or a cat, but
Yeah.
So Celine did put a question there for you, Allie. I was
oh,
wondering.
sorry, I'm
It's,
not very good at Zoom here.
No,
yeah,
we're
no, that's okay.
fine.
I'll
We're
read it.
reading
I'm
it.
reading it to
Oh,
you.
okay.
Yes.
What are some of the reasons the animals would take on the owner's stuff, and how do you support them with that type of issue?
Oh, that's a good question. Um, I find that the reason is just that that's I think why we're so fortunate as people to have animals is because they're
Mm.
just naturally healing. Like it's not it gives me goosebumps. It's not really a case of or let me put it this way, like I have a lot of people that'll be like, I'll find all this stuff in the horse that happens to be theirs. And I have to tell them, don't feel guilty about it because you can tell they start to get a little like mortified that all of their stuff is like in the animal's body. But um, I have to tell them like you're never gonna that animal's never gonna not do that for you. Like you can't be like, don't take on my stuff. Don't do that. It's like that's just how they exist and that's just how they're hardwired. And when you're in relationship with them, because they're so in tune, it just happens. There are animals that I'd say absorb less than others for sure, but it's not something that's never going to happen. So I find my role is when I find that stuff in the horse's body is to move it out the best that I can so that information isn't lodged, in the tissue in that spot or whatever. And then talk to the person about, okay, what can you do for these issues for yourself?
Hmm.
Because the best thing for the animal is that actually the owner goes and works on their
Work
own
on their own stuff.
on their own stuff. And
Right.
and some of them will come and see me for their own treatments, and that's nice. Some of them, go do their other things, and some of them don't work on themselves at all, which is, just humans, I suppose. But that's kind of how I navigate that because it's not going to not happen. Like your animal's just not going to stop knowing
Right.
things about you. But I think it comes back to that personal responsibility of making sure that you're keeping tabs on your own stuff and your own state, when you're around your pets.
Hmm. Good
Mhm.
advice.
Hmm.
Really good advice.
Yeah.
So, okay. Stacy was wondering, Ellie, how did you communicate with horses start? I guess to start. You said you were wondering if you were imagining, so how did you come to realize you weren't?
Okay, yeah, good question. Yeah, I was just doing my normal day-to-day work with the horses, and I just, like I think one of the first times I went to take one of my own horses like out of its stall, and I heard something, and I was like, "Hey, I didn't just think that. Like you said it, and it like came into my head. That wasn't my own generated thought." And then that just kind of started happening more frequently. And then to be honest, it really wasn't until some other things in my life shifted and then I ended up in class with Wendy. And that first week of class, it was literally just like flipping a light switch. It was like, oh, I can like see things inside of this person's body and I can like feel all this stuff and I know all of these things without realizing I could do that. And it just all was like right there. And then, going through the process of learning how to actually navigate that. And my life prior to that had always been a little weird. Like just weird things would happen or like just, and then it kind of just all started to come full circle and make sense. But it was really, yeah, started with kind of hearing the horses and then some things in my life just really started shifting. And then I ended up in class and then it just kind of
Yeah.
went from there.
Yeah.
She
Like,
did
Yeah.
have one
well, like,
follow-up too. She was
yeah, and
wondering
like one
about
of
what's the
those,
weirdest treatment you ever had too.
oh, the weirdest treatment. Oh gosh. Okay.
If you're willing
Yeah,
to share, that is.
yeah, no, that's a good one. I'd say my weirdest treatment would be a woman. She's a good friend of mine now, and it's always nice when the weirdest ones are people that you're just meeting, so they have like no reference point of whether you're like a total crazy person or not. Um, but the horse was older, like 20s, had been a lesson horse, like, and she's a brilliant horse trainer, like, but the horse started exhibiting really extreme behavior, like
Hmm.
chucking people into the ground, like just not right. And the owner's also good friends with a friend of mine who's a vet. And the vet's like, Ali, you gotta go see this horse. Like something is severely wrong. And she actually thought the horse had a brain tumor because the change in its personality was so severe and its behavior was so severe. She's like, there's something very, very wrong. And they were telling me like before I went, I was like, okay, like when did this kind of start happening? And she said, well, we trucked the horses out to the mountains and we went on a trail ride. And partway through the trail ride, like the horse just lost it and was like rearing, like one of them fell off, like it was not good.
Wow.
And then ever since that day, she just hasn't been the same. And they're telling me this, and I instantly get this like, you guys went somewhere you weren't supposed to go. And they're like, what? And I'm like, no, no, no. Like you went somewhere that you were not supposed to go. So we leave it at that. And then I go to do the horse. I think it was 2 days later. And the woman wasn't in the barn. I was waiting for her, and the horse was in the stall. And I stayed outside of the stall because again, like I don't know this horse. And they said the behavior is extreme. So I just was standing in front of her in this little barn, and she looked right into my eyes, and then she looked over my shoulder, and then she looked into my eyes, and then she looked over my shoulder, and I was like, I know, I can see them too. And there was a huge group of um like natives, like indigenous people, spirits just standing in the corner of this barn. I'm like, okay, this is weird. And I guess long story short, what ended up happening was when they went through this trail, there were these spirits of the land and this native tribe and spirit like on the trail. And this horse has a massive spiritual field. Like she's a very, very special horse. And they went riding through this section and they literally just took the horse's soul. Like they had it. Like nobody was home. And normally when I go to treat a horse and I start on the outside of their body and I'm like, okay, this
Wow.
joint is sore, this isn't functioning well, this biomechanically is weird, whatever, whatever. It was like touching nothing. And so it's like she was over here, even though physically she's standing there. And so the whole treatment was I basically had to do these negotiations between this group of people
Yeah.
and my friend because they were like, why would we give you your horse back? Like, we have no reason to give her back to you. And a lot of it was
Yeah.
they were showing me an area of land, and I was like, I see a bunch of garbage, and then there's like a bridge, and they're upset about the garbage. And the owner was like, I know exactly what you're talking about. There's a campsite in this one section, and then you go up over a bridge. And so these people were upset that, people come to this campsite and they toss their shit on the ground and they don't respect the land. And then Tracy goes by with her fantastic horse, and they were just like, we'll take that, thank you, even though she wasn't camping. Anyway, so I had to do all this stuff. We did all this stuff. They gave the horse back, and I was like, boom, the horse is there. This is great. The people went away. And then Tracy texted me or called me the next day, like in tears. And she was like, my horse is back. Like the horse is normal. I went out to her paddock. She came right up to the gate. She looked me in the eye again. Like she's totally normal. So, that's a situation where you're like, okay, obviously vets have their place, but like a vet is not going to figure that out. Like
No.
a vet's not going to be able to change that. So that was probably, yeah, I've had a couple of really weird ones, but that was probably one of the strangest.
I love
Just
that because I have weird things happen
so
like,
bizarre.
yeah, I've had weird things like with people that are, you know, like that. Like I had a barn full of horses, ghost horses, So yeah, there's
Yeah,
the ghost horses thing.
you just don't know. Like, and then yeah, like I've had a couple other like pretty strange ones, but that one was probably one of the most interesting for
Well,
sure.
can you tell us another one? Do you have time for another story? Unless
Please
there's
tell us
other
a story.
questions out there. It's your time for questions out there. Otherwise, we're loving the stories. Do you have another?
Okay, let me like think of another really weird one. Yeah, okay. This one will just take less time. So I had a vet ask me to come out and look at her horse because she's a vet, and her partner is actually like a lameness specialist. So they try to figure out why
Oh,
the
yeah.
horse isn't sound, right?
Yeah.
So like highly knowledgeable people. And she's just like, yeah, I want you to come and look at this horse because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I do, nothing gets better. Like she's injected this
Mhm.
joint, she's done this treatment, she's like, it just never, the horse never gets better. And maybe it'll be like minute and then it disappears, minute disappears. So I said, okay. So I went out to do the horse and I do my setup, I get ready, and instantly, like I start on the outside of the body, and all I see is like blood and mud and dirt. And I'm like,
Wow.
okay, this is not right. And so what had happened was that that horse had a very traumatic past life. And if I'm remembering correctly, it was definitely like a war because a lot of horses have died in
Right.
wars. It
Yes.
was a war scenario and it had this really awful death. And I think it had like broken its neck and was like laying in the mud, like taking a long time to die and like suffering, and there's blood everywhere and it's dirty. Like it was catastrophic. And this, this, um, this vet had never seen me treat a horse. Like I wouldn't say she was skeptical because she called me out, but she just,
Mhm.
she wasn't really sure, but she knows this horse. She's had a long time. And so she could tell by his demeanor. Horses are very obvious with their communication, like that something's happening. So she could tell by his demeanor that what I was saying was very accurate. Like he was giving responses at the right time with things I'm explaining and things I'm moving. Um, and basically what it was that energy of the pain of dying and hurting itself and being unwell was so strong in that horse's field that nothing that she was doing to treat the horse in this present life could
Mhm.
could work because it couldn't get through how intense that energy was.
Right.
um so I did the best. I did what I could do, and that's kind of how that one went. And she got it and the partner got it and they were like, wow, we had no idea that
Mm.
that something like that could be going on, or that that horse was kind of suffering in that way, because
Yeah.
it was so intense. But
Mm.
nothing, that's why nothing she tried, it's like it couldn't penetrate that energetic layer that was so
Mm.
strong.
Yeah.
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 So I wouldn't say that's not really a weird one, but I mean that
Yeah.
is some of the stuff that you can
Yeah,
you can
exactly.
find, especially
Yes.
when you have these.
Yeah.
I'd say I do get a lot of like last resort phone calls, you know.
Hmm.
Well, we've tried everything and no one knows
Yeah,
what's the
we get that
problem,
for
or like
humans
we have
too.
this behavioral thing and no one can figure it out. And that's
Yeah.
sort of when some people will maybe seek me out because they're kind of at their wits' end with trying to figure things out. So
Right.
obviously in those cases, those are things that obviously we can do that a vet can't do, but obviously there's things that the vet can do that we can't do. So you have
Right.
to be,
Yeah.
goes both ways.
So we have one today. Actually, Tarek has brought a horse, not
Oh,
brought a
nice.
horse, but
Yeah.
there's a horse called Kiss.
Okay.
And Kiss has started having bad behavior, but the groom had hit Kiss.
Hmm.
And then Kiss had kicked the groom.
Right.
And since then has been very upset.
Yeah.
So that sounds like probably to be expected.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Um,
They have feelings just like we do for sure.
exactly. Yeah. So we're going to be looking at that one.
Oh,
Actually,
good.
I guess maybe I'll be working with that one.
Well,
Anyway, yes, it'll be, yeah, it's good to hear you
yeah.
reminding us of all these things. Yeah. How long have
Yeah.
you been working with the horses and the animals?
I think full time I've been treating now almost like 8 years.
Right. Yeah.
So a decent.
And is there a demand for this work?
Oh yeah, I'm
Yes.
I'm full on. Like if anything, I'm probably doing too many treatments on a
Yeah.
regular basis, and exhausted this time. So yeah, no, for sure there's a need. Um yes, I do have a website. I can send that to you, Wendy, if you want to just send it out to everybody
Yeah.
like by
Yeah,
email.
yeah. We'll send it
And
out.
you know, one thing I probably would say if people are considering like working with animals as a job, maybe not so much with the dogs and the cats, but for sure the horses, because horses are used for sport, is managing people's expectations can be kind of hard sometimes.
Mm,
And you know, maybe with dogs too, but it's you know, it's A, it's not always a one and done,
yeah.
you know, and B, it's like once I leave, you know, I'm not involved in the horse's training or do you know what I mean? Like it's you know, yeah, managing expectations can be a big one when you're working with someone's animal and I find that to be very different than managing expectations when you're working with a person, like treating
Right.
people.
Yeah.
It's just a different thing to navigate a little bit.
Yes. Yeah. Understandable.
Yeah.
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 But yeah, I should go pack my suitcase because I
Yeah.
gotta
I know you got a
I
flight to
gotta fly
catch.
somewhere. Yeah.
Thank you. And
Yeah,
thank
thank
you
you
to
so
all of us.
much.
That was amazing. We
Yay.
just loved having you here and answering
Yeah.
these questions and telling us your
Yeah. Have fun doing your
amazing work.
animal day.
Yeah.
It'll be
Yeah.
good. Yeah. They'll appreciate it, that's for sure.
Okay.
Yes, they
Okay. And
will.
I'll send Wendy, I'll send you an email with my
Yeah.
info and stuff.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
And I
Good to
hope
see you
that
again,
someday,
Ellie.
we
Huh?
hope that someday she'll teach a class on this.
Yeah, Wendy is talking to me about that.
Yeah.
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 I do get the odd people that are like, hey, Allie, and I'm like, I don't know.
Well, they'd have to be graduates of this, so they'd have that
Yeah.
part already
Okay.
figured out.
Okay, yeah, that I could handle. That I
I
could
know, not just
Yeah,
out of the
not
blue
brand
people.
new off the street kind of people.
No,
Okay.
no, it would
They
Okay.
gotta
only
have a
be for
background.
graduates. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yes. Yeah, we can chat about that for sure. And I'll
Yeah.
probably see you, Wendy, next Tuesday. Sorry, I missed last night.
Oh, yeah, that was, yeah, she does our spiritual healing circle with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're also going to see you on Saturday.
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah, for my own treatment. Oh, fun.
Right.
I look forward to that. It's been a
Exactly.
while. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
enjoy everyone. Have lots of fun today.
Yep.
Yeah. Thanks,
Okay.
Ellie.
Yeah, bye.
Great. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye. Okay. Wow. Yay,
That was
Allie.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, so inspiring.
She's amazing at the work she does. She's one of those that really started to this course helped her kind of hone all of what all that was.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bring it all together. Yeah.
Very intuitive. She did a session on me once. I still have the thing on my gratitude jar for what she told me, and I keep that on there because it was so profound. I kept it.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, people, they could definitely take the class. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll be saying like everybody should take this class. So anyway, I think we're on break now.
Yes.
So we're going to you will need some place to work on an animal. You don't especially need a whole table. I'll put my table up just so you can see me. Um, but but just like a table is fine. Just someplace so that, and you can also work on animals in the air, especially, if I was working like the horse, now I have to figure out the horse would be kind of giant here. But we'll work on that horse. But I'll do it I'll put the table up anyway. Okay, but be prepared. Like mostly it's gonna be cats and dogs, so you can even use like a stuffed animal as
A prop
something
or a
as
surrogate.
prop. Yes, or surrogate. Yes, that's the right word.
Wendy and John, I have a meeting at 12:30. Are we going to be done our treatments by then? Fingers crossed.
Maybe not.
Because she's got a
But
demo and stuff.
Well,
So
okay.
so is Selena in the mix?
I didn't have her in the mix because I knew she had
Okay,
to
so
leave early.
that's fine.
Oh, no, I really want to do it. Maybe
Well,
I'll
I'm not
just,
especially going to be done by 12:30.
okay, I'll figure out a way. I told my friend I would work on her dog. So I'll figure out. Maybe
Okay,
I'll,
well, you don't have to work on anybody. You don't have to do an exchange. You can just
Yeah,
work
just
on
do
the
it on your,
dog.
yeah, just do that.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
Yeah.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
neat.
There you go.
Yeah,
Perfect.
You
there you
got
go.
it. Okay,
Yay.
so we're on break until 11:22 or 22 minutes after the hour.
Yeah.
Okay, that was so fun.
Yeah. Let's
Yeah,
pause our recording.
thank you. Yes. Okay. So we have, well, let me see, have I done my, so PowerPoint? Yeah. Yes, that was PowerPoint. Actually, let's look at escape that. The animal sessions. So I'm going to bring that one up and we'll share that as we look at it. Here we go. Yeah, animal sessions. Okay, you're gonna be working on an animal after that talk. It's pretty exciting.
This is in your handouts, everybody, on page 25.
Yep, this is page 25 in your handouts. So, um, so just as you can work on the animal, and whatever, work with the name of the animal. So you're gonna just get a name. Then, and really that's, or, someone's animal. Can you work on Joe's dog Spot? So I guess that was Dick's dog Spot or Jane's. I don't know. Run, Spot, run. Okay, so, um, and you can also do it in person. Some animals, especially large animals like horses, are able to receive sessions with hands-on and enjoy it. So, animals can really love getting an energy session. You can also work in the presence of an animal, but do the session at a distance. And so they're very sensitive, and so they pick it up. They're not like humans that are thinking like, this isn't working. As Ali said, they are very other dimensional beings. So it's great to be able to connect with them that way, but also like the cat from next door. Sometimes they want to get worked on in person. You never know. But usually with the dog, even if the dog is nice and relaxed, unless there's something very specific, and I'll hold my hands right in that area, if the dog, doesn't mind. But usually just doing it just off the dog is fine as well, or off the cat, or off the horse. So the protocol begin as always with the 1 through 10 as our usual. Um, and either in advance or during the session, do the diagnostic circles and explore the animal's energy at those 3 levels and ask the following questions. Well, it could be in the middle level or at the high level, but usually the high level is pretty high. So you can sort of check into like, what is that general emotional tone? So when you are, so the first level, you're going to be doing the physical, right? So you're going to do the 3 levels. So the first level, you're going to be looking for, do my ankles hurt? Do my wrists hurt? Like, can you have a sense of the animal and what's going on inside of them? If you're owl, you're going to be like seeing it more, like get a visual of what's going on inside of the animal. If you're more kinesthetic, you'll feel it inside of you. And then at the emotional level, so then you're going to look at, what is the emotion that's going on here? Is the animal, do they feel like relaxed, happy? Do they feel stressed out? So all those different things that you can look into. Um, and then what is that about? What's connected to that? So what does that emotional tone come from? So, so feeling into the emotional tone to try and get more information about like what upset did they upset? Like what is it about? What's that connected to? So you just get a sense of there's some sort of chaos or is there a person? Start to connect into what's actually going on. And then who are they connected to? So you really need to like, what's the sense of their connection to like the main person who they are connected with? Um, for that, for that sense of connection, what does the animal like to do? Like what makes the animal happy? So these are just suggested questions. These aren't like, you start to get into a conversation with the animal. Basically, what you want to do is have a conversation. You want to have a chat with the animal. What is the animal's life purpose? So that's a big one. They don't think of it as life purpose. You would be, you could if you have one of those big wise ones. What is your life purpose? But then a lot of them are just more like kids, and you're just like, what are you here to do? Like, why did you come to the world? Like, put it more that way. But, there's a real range of animals and where their consciousness is at. So very different if I was talking to a Toby and to a Simon. Simon would totally really my life purpose. It's I already told you, I take care of things. I protect the family. That's what I do. But if you ask that to Toby, it'd be just like, oh, I don't know. I just love Nancy. So you get very different kinds of beings. So you kind of get into the conversation, you kind of get a feel for them. And I always get them. It's very easy usually to get this little childlike voice going on, or whatever voice that is. Animals are great and they want to connect. So much easier than people. That's one of the great things with animals. It's so much easier than with humans. Do they have any confusions that they need help with? Well, if they're upset, if there's anything that feels upset to them, there might be something going on. The confusion is um, like there's the person, like Ali would be talking about, who doesn't understand that the animal is hearing everything that they're saying. That they don't get that. So I had a case with Pamela, who you all know. Pamela, Pamela and her husband John had, well, it's actually John's dog was Sunny. And Sunny is a little kind of a white, fluffy, what are those dogs? Um, wasn't woolly, but it was more fluffy. Anyway, but Sunny was a bit of a barker. And but Sunny had stopped eating and stopped drinking. And Sunny was basically just dying, and they were taking Sunny to the vet, but decided to come to see me on the way to see if I could figure this out, because she was going to try and get him like IV to hydrate him and all this stuff. And it's like, okay, well, I'll tune into Sunny. And then Sunny was like, they don't love me anymore. They don't love me. And, so I'm leaving because I'm not loved, because, I'm not wanted. Because so his life purpose was to be loved. He was like John's dog, and now John didn't want him anymore. John doesn't love me, so I'm going. And so I said, like, what's going on? How come Sonny thinks that you're not loved? And I'm like, but look at they're trying to like save you. And so it turned out that they had this business, and Sonny would be there with John, and Sonny would get barking, and John would get annoyed at Sonny for like barking at everybody that came through the door. And one just recently, someone had come through the door, and they had said, "Oh, what a nice dog. I love your dog." And John had said, "Oh, well, you can have him. You can have him." And Sonny heard it, and that was enough. And Sonny decided, "Okay, I'm out of here. He doesn't want me anymore. I'm in shock. He give me away to this person." Anyway, so we cleared that up with Sonny. It's like, "Oh no, I didn't mean it." So he's so sad, and he so wants you. And Pamela was like, "Yeah, Sonny, we love you so much." And then Sonny just immediately was able. Sonny, he had actually been out in the car, and she brought him in, but he started immediately, put down some water and some food, and it was like drank the water, had the food, wagged his tail, and was like 100% fine. Like just went from death's door to fine. I had another one of those where the dogs it was a little dog and it had eaten mushrooms and it was dying and nobody could get its liver better and he just brought her to me kind of last resort, like Allie says, you're the last resort. Anyway, it turned out that he hadn't made it clear because the new dog has taken care of the place of an old dog that had died. And so he had um, brought and just said, "Oh, I just want to make you a companion for my other dog because my other dog, misses, I can't remember the dog's names right now. Anyway, so and so this dog is like, I didn't come here to be a companion. I came here to be your dog. I don't want to be the companion of this other older dog. I want to be your dog." And anyway, we just had to straighten that out. When we straightened that again, the dog hadn't eaten. They say liver failure, gonna die. The dog immediately got up again, had some water, and said he got some food. And no, started to eat the food like instantly, like 100%, and was 100% fine. Even though the liver enzymes were supposed to be done and couldn't live, the dog just went better. So I think I saved him $5,000. He said his next thing was going to cost $5,000, and it was like, I didn't get paid that anyway. But people will pay a lot of money to get their animals well. And I mean, I don't do that, but it's definitely a thing out there. Like, but people will spend money on their animals because they don't know what their animals need. It's like you feel so helpless. It's like, I don't know, are they sick? Are they poisoned? Are they anxious? Do they have like cancer? I have no idea. So people really love to have this, to be able to have this, get this information. Yeah, so the confusions. So those are the confusions. So this guy was like, "Oh no, I want you. Yes, I'm gonna go spend $6,000 to try and save your life. No, I do." Yeah. So what's his name? Start with B. Anyway, so that was a pretty cute dog, and it was a puppy still. So it was very, very upsetting. But then the dog was fine. Otherwise, would have just died with this confusion. So it's so important. And then after we do all that and get the questions, we're going to do the energy work. Just like a person, you just adjust it to the size of the animal and the kind of the animal. Use the animal, different anatomy, include magic gloves. And so, especially with animals, include magic gloves in the work, and we will. Adjust and add the specific protocols to work with animal conditions and ailments. And so it's good to also find out some information. But for animals, they do live in this very psychic world. And and I've also had like dogs. I think dogs, what's a dog? I just remember going there with the dog, the animal that just slept all the time. And they're like, well, that's because that's my main world, is this world. And I'm there in what we would call the dream world was their real world, and this world was more like the dream world to them. So they were much more of their dream life. So it was very interesting. And then so the owner had to be like, oh, okay, so it's not a problem that they're sleeping. They're just in this other world when they're sleeping. So don't, not to worry about it. So, yeah, any more questions?
Nothing in the chat yet.
I have a question.
Okay.
Finding the organs for the treatment? Do we just
Yeah.
intend?
So I see I used to have a different one of these pictures. This is my PowerPoint, I thought. Because the dog's intestinal tract is more coiled. Their stomachs don't look like our stomachs. That's like the biggest difference. is, I would say, the actual stomach of dogs, and probably I'm sure cats too. If you look at the anatomy, um, the anat it's here. The anatomy is that's one of the big differences, and so that can be something to look at. But they have all the parts. They have the same parts as us. Some of them are just bigger or smaller, just like, we can eat chocolate. Dogs, should not be eating chocolate.
But
So,
Wendy, I think for today is more about since they won't know the anatomy, they can just work with
yeah.
the intention, of course.
Yeah, we set it up. So we're going to set it up to be good. Okay. Um, okay, so John, I think it's over to you. Like, who's who?
Okay, so the way that we're going to do this is I'm going to be putting you in partners. You'll be working with Wendy. Wendy, we're going to do all the sessions at the same time.
Yep.
And what we're going to be doing is, but I'm going to be taking your cat or dog, and your partner will be doing that one, and you'll be doing theirs. So
Yes,
and
it's
then
a
you'll have a
trade.
chance to share afterwards about what you noticed. And the only thing you're going to get is you're going to get the sex of the animal, what the animal is, and what the name is, and then you're going to see what else shows up.
Yes.
So I'm going to have Barbara and Gavin. So, Gavin, since you and Stuart have two animals, I gave you one of them. So, Barbara's going to work with a male dog named Kenny, and Gavin's going to work with a male dog named Raven.
Nice.
And then Elena and
John, it's Raven is female.
oh, female. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's good to know. Somehow I had male. I don't know why. Okay. Female. Good. So you might have figured that out too. So Gavin, it's a female dog named Raven, and then Elena's and is going to work with Michelle. So Elena's going to work with a male cat named Tom, a tomcat, and uh, and Michelle is going to work with a male dog named Ginger. Uh, Esther and Stuart. Stuart's going to work with a female dog named Joy. I love that name, Joy. And Esther's going to work with a female dog named Sandy. Naomi, are you good? This is our nice treatments. I want to make sure that you're okay. It's not really long
Mhm.
treatments. They're lovely ones to do.
Yep, she's good.
Okay. So you're going to work with Stacy. So Naomi's going to work with a male cat named Jake. And Stacy's going to work with a female dog named Zelda Singh. I love it. All right. Tarek, you're going to work with Freddie. So Freddie, I'm just going to pick one of your cats to get a session, unless you have a preference of which one. Okay. So Tarek, you're going to work with a male cat named Theo. And Freddie's going to work with a female dog named Tilly or Matilda. And Celine, you're going to do your own thing. Inga, you're here, but I don't think you're. I can have you partner with
I
Inga
can
if you're.
also give, like, could the same person work on the same dog twice if they need, like, we wouldn't do two treatments on the same
No, no,
dog.
no. We got enough animals. We'd rather have
Okay,
each
good.
animal get something.
Okay.
But I want to know if Inga's here or she's just kind of online because I don't think she's part of it. So I'll let Celine just do the
No, she's
dog we were
here.
going to do.
Inga's for here.
Is
I
here.
know she's here, but she's not respond. I think sometimes she just listens along, but she's not actually, or is she actually going to do the session?
Are you going to do the session, Inga?
I was thinking to do one on my cat.
Okay, that sounds good. And then
Perfect.
Celine can do it on her friend's dog. Okay,
Yes.
good. So that's good.
Yeah.
And So everybody clear of who you're working with? And Stacy, you had a question. I know you gave me another animal, but I didn't get that down. I'm sorry if you wanted that one instead.
No, I will go with the first one I gave, but if there's any space to add one more, just considering, no, okay.
No, not really. So, but the good thing is, after you've done this, then you can play with that, do some more with that, your friends. Yeah, that would be great. So, as long as everyone's clear, then Wendy's going to take you through a demo with the horse from that Tarek brought up today.
Yes, you'll be working with Miss Kiss.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just have like something on the table here to represent horse. No, that's not better. Okay. The dog bed. Okay, so let's well, we actually don't need to do this first. I'm gonna get this out of the way. I need to do our circles first. Very important part with our animals, our animal connection. So we'll go through our setup, and then we are going to and then we're going to do our circles. Okay. So
You want everybody to join us. You want everybody to do this. You're not demoing this. We're all doing it together.
No, I'm not demoing this.
Right. Okay. So everybody stand up. We'll do our 1 through 10.
Yeah, sorry. We're doing it. We're jumping in here. Yep. Pretty basic. Okay. Yes, you're pretty prepared to work with animals. So finding the posture, Wuji posture, and breathing deeply and smiling and connecting to a beautiful golden light above you, and inviting this beautiful golden light over your head to melt down over the top of the head, the face, the chest, all the way down to your feet. More golden light over the back of the head and shoulders, neck, down your back to your feet. And more golden light coming in through the crown and illuminating the brain and the hemispheres of the brain, the glands of the brain, coming down through the senses, eyes, ears, nose, mouth, being recipients of this beautiful golden light as it pours down now through the throat, illuminating the thyroid gland, your thymus gland, and coming in to fill the heart, and smiling to your heart, beautiful shining heart, and the golden light coming up into your lungs. Nice breath here. And then the golden light settling down into the liver, blessing the liver, coming across to bless the spleen and the pancreas. And golden light coming back into your kidneys and filling your kidneys. Beautiful golden healing light. Then inviting this light into the stomach, through the gallbladder, down through the small intestine, coming up the colon on the right, across, down on the left, back to the rectum. Golden light coming in to fill the bladder, and golden light filling your sexual organs. Good. It's golden light sinking into the blood vessels, into all the cells of the body, into the bones and bone marrow, expanding out through the connective tissue, fascia, tendons, ligaments, muscles, flesh, skin, out into the Wei Qi field, all around you. Beautiful golden glow all around you. Coming to your feet, dropping down into the earth, to the first, second, and third earthly transpersonal points. Feeling that rooting and grounding, and that spreading out of all those roots deep in the earth, and receiving the earth through that third transpersonal point of Mother Earth, and letting that energy rise up through the legs, up the back, over the head, down into the cauldron, the lower dantian. fire and water, creating steam, and that steam now moving through all the organs, through the digestive organs and through the main organs, the yin organs of the body, and expanding outward. So feeling that the power of this steam as it comes down the arms to the hands, the legs to the feet, comes up the neck to the head, whole body steam, steam, and out through the palms, create a field of steam, steaming yin yang balanced, healing energy all around you, alchemical healing around your feet, ankles, calves, knees, thighs, hips, waist, around the rib cage, the shoulders, the neck, the head. More and more building up, beautiful cocooning of steam, getting more thick, more dense, and then lifting up at the crown, lifting up to that first, second, and the third heavenly transpersonal points, connecting upwards to that heavenly gateway, the gateway of the Tao, to that higher light, to the higher worlds, and opening to that and inviting that divine yang, universal heavenly energy to flow down and fill the Taiji pole, the upper dantian, middle dantian, lower dantian, coalescing to form that beautiful Taiji pole, the center of the body. And with each breath, seeing it become brighter. And with each exhale, seeing it vibrate outward and shine. Breathing in, gathering more and shining outward. And once more, breathing in, and let that light shine out all around you into the first, second, and third fields of Wei Qi. Good. Now calling upon the divine, great beings of light, to be with you, to work with you, work through you, and allow you to be a vessel of healing in accordance with the divine will, for indeed you are healing, and asking that the divine supports you in your ability to connect with these wonderful beings, these animals, cats and dogs and horse, and calling upon the divine to hold the space where you are working now, safe and sacred. And then just include your table and the place where you're going to be doing your circles, and calling in the energy of this wonderful being. And you can let them go onto the table, but you'll still be calling upon them for our circles. And then calling upon the divine that watches over the animals. And here you might feel even an oversoul, like a Davic soul come in, like the higher beings that watch over the animals, or the higher self of this animal, or the guides anyway, different than human. Very lovely. Bringing that in, feeling that presence, and asking that they work with us and work through us so that our beautiful animal can have the best possible healing for their highest good in the world. And we ask that the work we do be a benefit to all beings. So that's beings. Yes. Okay. Yeah, just take a moment, kind of feel that wonderful presence. And we're going to connect in to our circles, to our healing circles. So, so our first one is going to be for the physical level, bringing in a beautiful ball of light and using this to create a nice circle or pool of light to be in the clockwise, to be able to read our animal's inner physical field. So stepping into that. So feeling what's going on with them at the physical level. Anything that you notice? And when you have a sense of that, you can write it down. And then, yes, you stepped out, and then write it down. And then you want to maybe also want to step in again, see if there's any other layer or anything else that comes up. You step back in the circle. And when you get that, you can step out. Hmm. Then after we've seen that, we can release that back to the divine with our gratitude for being able to read that, and now bring in a beautiful circle of light and asking the divine to be able to read their energetic field. This is sort of their emotional field, their mental field. So we're going to take that and then we're going to send that down so we can step into it, nice clockwise circles. And then we're going to step into the emotional field. And you're going to see what the predominant emotion is. That's our first thing that we kind of look at. What do you feel here when you step into their emotional field? And as you feel that, you can even ask internally, like connect to them and say, well, why do you feel this way? Maybe it's good. Maybe I'm just joyful. So it's like, oh, I feel this way because I love my life. Or maybe I don't feel, I'm not loving my life. So whatever that is. And then when you're ready, step out, and we'll step in and out of this one a few times. And when you've finished writing that down, you may go back in and ask them some more questions. Um, Maybe who do they care about? Who are they connected to? Okay. And then when you're ready, kind of on your own speed, okay, what do they like in their life? Like what makes them happy? But make sure, see if you can get into a conversation, because animals are good at conversing. And that's often connected to the next one, which is around life purpose, or what did you come here to do? Or, you know, what's your reason, to be alive, or what makes you feel alive, however you want to converse that. And anything else, any confusion, and when there's confusion, mostly they need to know that they're loved or something like that, like some kind of a good message. How can you help them work out what's going on? And then when you're ready, you can finish. We're going to finish that part up. Just the emotional part, letting that go. Then we're going to bring in, ask to be able to see their spiritual energy field. So bring in a ball and putting that down clockwise, circles for their spirit and connecting into that spirit. And at the spirit level, you might get some more insight, just have a greater sense of who this being is. And you're going to write that down. And when you've done that, we're going to let that go. Give our gratitude to the divine for privilege of being able to read their energy fields. And then we're going to come around to do the energetic working part of the 7 session. And so usually with a horse, you're going to be doing a longer session because they're really big, but mostly we're having cats and dogs here. So it's going to be, that part's going to be shorter than what you would normally do. Okay, so we're going to connect into the divine, get a beautiful ball of white light, and we're going to wrap our animal up, seal it into our vortex under the table, and drop our line from their tail into the earth and from your tail into the earth. And then combing. So it's combing from head to toe. And I'm working on a horse that's a little bit bigger, so but just like a person, nice combs down, just saying hello, getting the energy field a little bit cleared up. And then you can think of like the back paws or hoofs and send that energy up in that wave. Have a sense of reading the energy. A couple of sonars. And then some flat palms, especially on areas that you found that you thought had issues. So whatever that might be. And because they're actually not here, you could even think of, I think it was on the back, so you can roll them over. Feel into that area where you think there's something might be going on. Just see if that shows up. Okay. And then we're going to come around to the head. Think about their byway, their crown, connecting to the divine and sending in a nice light to light up their Taiji pole. Remember we had a picture with all the chakras and everything. So you just go right down into their Taiji pole, sending light. It's fun to think of that, a picture of the animal, the cat or the dog or the horse. Sending that light down into their lungs, white light, heart, red light. They're very, very receptive. And then green to the liver, yellow into the spleen, pancreas, and blue into the kidneys. And that light in, and you can send some light down into the paws or the hooves, so connecting to the divine and sending some blue light up into their kidneys from their feet. I mean, you don't have, if it's a cat, you don't have to, you can though, because it's a good review. Okay. Sending that up into their kidneys. Wow. Okay. Okay. My horse was just like, I had a lot of fear. I was just really wanting to suck in blue. So that was interesting. Okay. And then coming down over the head, a little bit of a clearing off the head. And reaching across just like we do. Clearing up around the neck. Going to their lung 1 point. And you do this however you need to do it. Don't, oh, sadness. That makes sense. Okay. Releasing that. And then up here, like a animal off of here. It's like we do off the shoulder. And then I'm going to be holding the imaginary foreleg and clearing down yin channels and the yang channels. And letting that go back wherever that is, letting that go and reaching to the other side. So clearing around the back of the neck, our lung one, opening that. When you take out lung one, do notice if it just comes out as a silvery, just nice straight thread, or if it feels lumpy or jagged. It tells you that there's grief or sadness going on to pay attention to. And then coming up off of, again, the shoulder. And taking that foreleg, clearing down the inside, down the yin channels, and then the yang channels, the back of the leg, and letting that go back to where it needs to go. And coming to behind the heart, sending a little bit of sweet pink or red up through the heart, clearing anything off the top of that. Okay, a little liver work. Just some nice tiger kneading on the liver. And clearing that. And clearing down along the base of the rib cage. Being stuck there. And then we're going to go around to the spleen. Nice ball of golden light. Put in the spleen. And ask that to remove any dampness. Release that when it's ready. And another beautiful ball of yellow golden light to help nourish the spleen. And have one hand on top and one hand underneath. Smiling into that spleen, helping it, the energy, go in. You can pull up above the head to have it really drop into place and continue to nourish the animal. Okay. And back around the other side. And we're going to do our magic gloves. So, bringing your hands up, magic gloves, and asking the divine to give us the magic gloves, and feeling them sliding down over your fingers, your palms, your thumbs, down to your elbows, and ask that these lead and guide us to bring healing to our wonderful animal friend who's here. Okay, and so just seeing where that wants to go. You definitely get some more communication here and then maybe an opportunity to do some other healing here as well. And when that feels complete to you, letting it complete, when you're ready, we're just going to connect up the feet to the kidneys. And so going to the opposite kidney first. Let that energy come up and fill the kidney. And then the closer kidney, right side. Okay, and then putting the hands one above, and this we're going to do a rotation. So just to remember that when you're working on animals, as you would come up to do a tonifying session, that the energy goes the reverse. So it's going to come up the front, down the back. So we're just going to do the lower dantian, but just up the front and down the back. Just have a sense of that's the orbit that we do. Okay, and then we're going to do the larger orbit. So down the back and up the front. It's also important for children. And collecting the energy, lower dantian, 9 times in each direction. Doing that. So in, and then connecting to the divine. Okay, nice ball of white light. We're going to wrap them up in their 3 bodies, seal it up, send them back, wrap them up there, seal them up, shake off, and sending whatever energy is theirs, lifting to the divine and returning to them as pure healing light. Any of your energy with them being lifted by the divine, transformed and returned to you as pure healing light. Give our gratitude to the heavens, gratitude to the earth, and gratitude to our wonderful animal for the joy of getting to work on them at this time. Okay, here we go. It's time to share.
Okay, I'm opening the rooms, everybody. And I'm going to pause our recording, Wendy.
Okay, so I was going to share my experience that you all kind of were aware of what was going on with Kiss the horse. So what I got was that Kiss feels very misunderstood, doesn't trust anyone, and just Kiss does not seem to have. She wants to have an owner who cares about her and loves her and that's there for her. And she's had this relationship in the past. I couldn't tell whether that was past life or this life, but she knows what that would be. And it feels like she was named Kiss like when she was born because someone kind of got who she was then. And and then this whole she's also had show me past life. She was like the horse on the millstone that kind of had to like walk around
Oh
this
no.
circle on and get beaten. Like you got to keep walking, keep walking. So that's a picture that she showed me.
Mm.
And just how, a horse doesn't want to do that. Horse wants to be out in the world. Horse wants to be ridden and have this, and she doesn't want to be in a life where she doesn't have someone who cares about her and loves her because she wasn't in that life, but like that's not the only life that wasn't so good. Um, and but she really wants that person. And Tara could be that person for her. I mean, I really kind of introduced that and suggested that, but needs someone there who is her advocate, who cares, or else she's very afraid. And so that's why the kidneys are really sucking up the energy because she's very terrorized and she believes that everybody there in the stables that nobody cares about her or loves her. So she feels very isolated in that way.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it was very sad.
Very sad.
Yes. But on the other hand, she did from the spiritual level, I got to see that she was going through this very beautiful spirit and that this was part of her growth journey. This was part of her evolution was to go through these challenges to evolve more and more. So she's quite evolved.
Mhm.
But this is definitely a challenge that she's got for herself in this life to go through.
Mm.
And I hope that Tarek has some time to spend with Kiss. So, okay. So, aren't animals wonderful? They are so communicative. They feel so good. And so when I used to do a lot of sessions, like I don't do a lot of sessions like I used to do a lot of sessions. When I used to do a lot of sessions, I'd be so happy because a lot of days I'd have like a dog or a cat or something to work on, like if you got one of them on your day, you can kind of like, okay, well, I got this little treat coming in. Yes. Okay. So there was a question in the chat.
Yeah, wondering if we'll be reviewing our schedule for the week before the end of day, exam day, healing sessions, and all of that.
Okay. I'm not sure what that question means.
Well, just,
Or-
I guess
Oh,
so tomorrow we're going to be working with
yes.
death.
Yes, really exciting. Like this
Yeah.
is a really cool journeys to make sure you're here for.
Do some nice
Yes.
journeys on
Yeah.
death. And then Friday is we're having people come in from the general public. You'll be working with a partner to give a
Yeah.
session on Friday, and then we'll discuss those sessions. We're going to talk about how to work with a partner tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then Saturday, we'll be doing the exam. After we do some Qigong, then we'll do the exam. You'll have about 90 minutes for that. We're going to review everything beforehand. You'll be fine. No one fails. This is not a failing exam.
Unless you don't want to take it,
Unless you
that's
don't
all.
take it, then you fail.
Yeah, not you don't feel like you just didn't take it then. But
Yeah, right. So we're going to
Yeah,
review the stuff that's on the
want
exam,
to
and a
take
lot of
it.
it's subjective. It's really, we want to get your opinion on what's going on and experiences that you've had. So it's a lot
Yeah.
about that. And then you'll be doing your first solo treatment, which you can. The exam's not open notes, but the sessions are. So you can have all your notes available and do the sessions that you'll be working with. And these are all graduates. They've been through this, they've done this, and maybe in the future you'll be able to offer that to new graduates. You're just going to be giving them the basic treatment protocol, and of course, anything else that you've learned through the year that kind of resonates with them. And you're going to get an intake. I'm going to send those out. Uh, I'll send those out on Thursday. Tonight, I'll send out the ones for Friday. I'm going to send those out now so that if you have any questions about them tomorrow, you can bring them up and we can discuss those. So then you'll do those sessions on Saturday with the graduates, 90-minute sessions. It's important that they're 90 minutes. Really want to stress
Yes.
that
Don't stop in 30 minutes.
don't stop in 30 minutes. You want to make sure you have intake. You want to talk to them for a little bit, just like you would do if someone came to have a session with you. Give them an hour session, give them a 15-minute of what prescription. And then Sundays all just
So I just want to,
celebrate.
John, I just wanted to say again. So the sessions are 15 minutes to talk to them. That's your getting acquainted time.
That'll be the
You
same on
know,
Friday too.
and then you have an hour to do the actual session is 60 minutes. And then another 15 minutes at the end, which is for, as John said, the sort of the feedback and the prescriptions. Just get the 15 hour 15 comes to 90 minutes.
Right.
Yeah,
And
sorry,
that's going to
John.
be really important because you want to really get used to that because people are coming in knowing that they get a 90-minute session. So that's what we want them to get.
Mhm.
And that'll happen in clinic too. When you work with a graduate and you're doing the clinic, there'll
Mhm.
be 90-minute sessions. So it'll be important to do that. And it'll be important to keep that 90 minutes too and not go longer because at clinic, you'll be running into the next session. There'll be people waiting there for you that will be wanting a session. So that's why we stress the 90 minutes so much.
Yeah. And then you were talking about Sunday and I interrupted you.
Oh, yeah, that's
So,
okay. We're just celebrating, going to celebrate.
okay. And talk about our experience with
Talk about our experiences from Saturday.
yes. Yeah.
Because the solo sessions will actually will be at the end of the day. So when you're done with your partner, you go. So if they do, those ones do go a few minutes over, that's okay because it's the end of the day.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to go over what you need to know,
Yeah,
especially that good old 5 element chart.
yeah. For exams.
Yeah, so you need to know the element, you need to know the yin organ. So what's the yin organ? The yin organ is the deeper organ. It's the like the kidney, let's see, liver, heart, spleen, lungs, and kidneys. Those are the 5. Those are our yin organs. You need to know the yang partner organ for your yin organ. So if it was the liver, then it would be the gallbladder. If it was the heart, it'd be the small intestine. If it was the lungs, it would be the colon. If it was the kidneys, it would be the bladder. And if it was, which one didn't I say? Oh, the
Spleen will be the
spleen, it'd be
stomach.
the stomach. Yeah. So that's those. You need to know the color. What's the color associated with the organ? So our wood element is green, our fire element is red, our earth element is yellow, our metal element is white, and our water element is blue.
Yep.
Then we need to know the virtue that goes along with that. So the virtue of wood is compassion. For the heart, it's order. It's I like
Peace.
order. Peace, yes, peace, well-being, harmony. For the earth, it's trust and faith. For the lungs, it's integrity. For the kidneys, it's wisdom. And then you need to know your acquired emotion. So what sets it off? So if there's a lot of anger, it's affecting the liver. There's a lot of chaos and disharmony, it's affecting the heart. If there's a lot of or overexcitement
Or
there,
anxiety.
anxiety, yeah. So if there's a lot of worry, it's affecting the spleen. There's a lot of sadness and grief that's affecting the lungs. And if there's a lot of fear, it's affecting the kidneys.
And I'm going to invite you as we do the workout, because we'll be doing it again right before
Mhm.
the exam, and we'll be doing it again on Friday. We'll do it on Sunday. We'll be doing it a lot. But before the exam, you just listen to what I say. I'm constantly giving you all the
Yeah.
answers. Every class, if you're actually listening, you'll go, wait a minute, there's lungs. And I said, today we said we're going to work with the metal element when we're doing counter swing. Let's help that metal element. Let's help the skin. Let's help, working with white
Yes.
color. And I'm always giving you the answers. So they're all right there.
Yes. So the direction of wood element is east, like the rising sun, and its season is spring. So it's like the beginning of the day, beginning of the year. For the fire element, it is our season is summer, and the direction is south. Summer and south go together, unless you're in Australia. And then for our earth element, the direction is center. And it's Indian summer. So it's the one that's in between the seasons. It's the center. And then for our metal element, it is the west. The season is fall. So it's like the setting sun, the end of the year. So it's like an ending. And then for our water element, the direction is north. And our season is winter when it's cold. So there's a lot of this stuff that goes together. It makes it easier. Our wood agent is the Hun. And our animal is the dragon. It could be the nice dragon or it could be the angry dragon. So it's the Hun. And then for the heart, it's the Shen, spirit. And it is the fire phoenix. For the earth, for the earth element, our agent is the Yi, and which has to do with intention. So it's about the mind and intention. And the animal is the phoenix rising from the ashes. So those are two phoenixes. We have the ashes phoenix or the phoenix rising, and we also have the fire phoenix. And then for the metal element, it's the Po. We're talking about the Po, and our animal is the white tiger. And so the animals were all done in the Ren Wuzong,
I was
and
just going to say
John's
Ren
always,
Wuzong that we do, which we'll do before the
yes,
exam too.
we'll do before the exam, another little refresher there. And if you can't remember, we'll go in and help
We'll do
jog your
some
memory.
charades, but we really don't want you, don't use your notes. Really do what you can.
Yeah, because it's, this is what you need to know because it's so prevalent in what we do. And so the agent for the kidneys is the zhi, and the animals are tortoise and snake. And then our sensory organs, you need this because if someone's liver's off, it's good to know that that affects the eyes. And the heart shows up on the tongue. The spleen is the mouth. The the
Kidneys are
the
the
metal element is
ears. Yeah.
metal element's the nose, yes, and the kidneys is the ears. So yes.
And one other question you might want to know the answer to. What do we do for pregnant? What kind of treatment can we give pregnant women? None.
None. We don't treat pregnant women.
Don't treat pregnant women. You can give them Qigong exercises. There's lots of lovely
Yes,
Qigong, but no treatments.
no treatment. We're too powerful. We don't want to induce a miscarriage. Yeah. What's the other one? The other one's about broken bones.
Yeah. Oh
Ooh,
yes, the what is the contraindications for the healing sounds? That's the other thing you
oh,
might want to.
that's right. I
And
didn't
broken
know
bones is
that.
one. Wendy gave you the
Broken
first
bones
one.
is that's a contraindication for broke. That includes broken bones. John, you got it. Yes, it's healing sounds. Oops, I said that backwards.
So the other things that we would,
The other thing is more subjective, like what is qigong, maybe?
yeah, what is Qigong? Yeah, so tell us about your experience of doing this. What's going on with that, you know?
Yeah, just to be able to talk to people about what you do.
Yes, just
So,
getting you starting to think about how you would tell other people.
yes.
There you
Okay.
go. There's the
Okay, so
exam. See, you'll be fine.
I told you we're going to keep working on this. We're going to keep
And
going
just
over this.
listen to the Renwu songs and
Oh,
the
yeah.
exercises each day, and you'll start to s- get reviewed and get it in your head.
Yeah, because I mean, red is like hot, right? Red is like heat and the animals all pant. It's the tongue that's always hot in an animal that kind of steams and lets go of things. And that's like the sense organ is the tongue. There's just so many things that make sense. Summer, south,
I
um,
think kidneys and water makes sense. My goodness,
chin.
you
Oh
know.
yeah. Yeah, kidneys and water. It's sort of like and bladder. It's kind of a package, all goes
Yeah.
together. North. Yeah, it's on the back of the body. It's like north. Yeah. Okay, I think we're going to round it up for today. Great class. All those happy animals out there in the world
Happy,
now.
happy animals, yes.
Yeah, I've got to hear back what your animals tell you after they've had this great session. What
Yep.
was their response?
What was their response? Were they happy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I want some animal feedback.
Let's
I
stand up
wagged
and
my
do our
tail a
closing,
bunch.
everybody.
Yeah, time for closing. The animals are wagging their tails. Love and life. Okay. So let's connect to the earth. Breathe that in. And coming up, and let's bring that now down through the physical body. Bless your physical body. Beautiful energy. And again, up from the earth, and those feet like roots in the earth, and bringing in beautiful vitality, life force, movement, energy, bringing that through your field all the way down to your feet. And again, breathing in yourself, really feel that rooting, that grounding, great foundation for the day or for sleeping tonight, as many of you are doing. And bring in that spiritual energy, that spiritual light come down through you, bring peace, harmony, and balance. And if it's nighttime, and good sleep. And then bring your arms up, just feeling that gratitude for life. So much gratitude. Gratitude. This is our fourth seminar, B. Wow, and you're here. And bringing that in, feeling that in your heart. Yay. And sending your gratitude out to everyone who's here, all the wonderful work that we did together as a group, healing animals, and bringing that back into your heart and just appreciating yourself for learning something new and learning that you can communicate and work with our beautiful animals in this world and sending out peace and harmony to the world, all the beings. And thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Lauren.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, bye. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.